Welcome to our deep dive. We're going to be looking at the Mauryan Empire, specifically the reign of Ashoka.
Oh, Ashoka.
You might be thinking another emperor, more dates, more battles.
Right.
And for our UPSC aspirants out there,
Essentially.
you're probably thinking,
Yeah.
okay, another chapter in my GS1 ancient history prep.
Right.
But trust me, folks, this deep dive
Oh, yeah.
is so much more than just dry facts and figures.
Ashoka's story is a powerful one, full of twists and turns, and it offers some really valuable insights into leadership, ethics, the power of ideas. His legacy, it extends way beyond history textbooks.
It even holds relevance for us today.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's set the stage. Imagine an empire stretching from present-day Afghanistan in the west,
Wow.
all the way to Bangladesh in the east.
That's huge.
That's the kind of influence that the Mauryan dynasty wielded. Ashoka, who came to power around 269 BC.
Okay.
After, well, a rather tumultuous period of succession wars, he inherited this vast and powerful empire.
Interesting. Despite his, ruthlessness in securing his throne, Ashoka took on titles like Beloved of the Gods and He Who Regards Amiably.
He regards amiably.
Yeah, these titles are actually inscribed on his edicts, and they kind of suggest a complex personality.
It does make you wonder, right? Was this the same guy who...
Exactly.
And speaking of intense,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Kalinga War.
Okay.
This wasn't just any battle.
No.
This was Ashoka's only major war after he became emperor. The Kalinga region, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
located in present-day Odisha
Okay.
and northern Andhra Pradesh. This became the site of a conflict that would change Ashoka's life and the course of history.
Forever.
The impact of this war was devastating. We know from Ashoka's own words in Rock Edict the 13th that the casualties were immense. 150,000 people were killed, and countless more perished in the aftermath. This experience, it really shook Ashoka to his core and led him to adopt a radically different approach to leadership.
So the Kalinga War, real turning point, pushing Ashoka towards Buddhism.
And his innovative Dhamma policy. Now, for our listeners who might not be familiar,
Right.
can you explain what Dhamma is? It's often misunderstood, right?
Yeah, that's right. Dhamma is not a religion. A lot of people think that.
Okay.
Think of it more as a set of principles for harmonious living, sort of a social and ethical framework. It drew from various philosophies, and it reflected the incredibly diverse society of Ashoka's time. We're talking a society where Buddhists, Jains,
Okay.
Ajivikas, and Brahmins coexisted.
So instead of imposing one religion,
Right.
Ashoka was aiming to establish a common ground,
Exactly.
a shared set of values that could unite his vast and diverse empire.
Yeah.
What were some of those core principles of Dhamma?
Well, at its core, Dhamma emphasized tolerance, nonviolence, respect for elders, and kindness to all beings.
Okay.
These values transcended religious boundaries, and they had the potential to resonate with people from all walks of life.
Imagine a leader advocating for these principles in a world often defined by conflict and division.
It's powerful.
It's a radical shift, especially for a ruler who had once waged such a brutal war.
Absolutely.
But Ashoka didn't just preach these values from his palace.
Right.
He took a very innovative approach
Yeah.
to spreading Dhamma throughout the empire. And that's where his famous edicts come in.
Ah, yes. These weren't just dusty scrolls tucked away in libraries. Ashoka, he had his messages inscribed on rocks and pillars, placed strategically throughout his empire.
So that his words reached as many people as possible.
Exactly.
And they weren't just concentrated in the capital city.
Yeah.
He placed major rock edicts on the frontiers of his empire. So he's signaling his intent to spread Dhamma
Far and wide.
far and wide. It's almost like an ancient version of a billboard campaign,
You could say that.
but with a much deeper message.
Absolutely.
And to make sure his message resonated with everyone,
Yeah,
he used multiple languages.
that's right.
Prakrit, Aramaic, Greek,
Wow.
and scripts like Brahmi and Kharosthi.
This demonstrated a remarkable understanding of communication and inclusivity, especially for a ruler of that era.
Let's dig into some specific examples from these edicts.
Okay.
Rock Edict the First,
Yeah.
for example, banned animal sacrifices
Right.
and those large festive gatherings. Pretty radical move for the time, right?
Yes.
It's like canceling all the major holidays today.
Imagine the reaction.
Imagine the reaction.
It highlights Ashoka's willingness to challenge established norms in pursuit of a more just and compassionate society. He wasn't afraid to make bold decisions, even if they were unpopular. This speaks volumes about his commitment to Dhamma.
Then there's Rock Edict the 2D3, where he expresses deep remorse over the Kalinga War. And he advocates for conquest through Dhamma. This is a complete 180 from his earlier approach to power.
It really shows his transformation.
It shows his transformation.
This edict offers a glimpse into Ashoka's personal journey and his belief in the transformative power of Dhamma. It's a testament to the profound impact that reflection and self-awareness can have, even on a powerful emperor.
Okay, so we've talked about Ashoka's transformation.
Right.
And his commitment to Dhamma.
Yeah.
But how did he actually run this massive empire?
Right.
He had a council of ministers.
Yeah.
Provincial divisions. Legal reform.
He did. But things get really interesting when you look at the officials called Mahattas. Mahattas, they played key roles in his administration. We have the Dhamma Mahattas, whose primary responsibility was promoting Dhamma throughout the empire.
So these Dhamma Mahattas were like ancient social workers or community organizers, spreading Ashoka's message and encouraging people to embrace Dhamma in their daily lives.
That's a great way to put it. And it wasn't just about preaching. They also worked to resolve disputes, promote social harmony, and ensure that the principles of Dhamma were actually being put into practice.
It sounds like a surprisingly progressive approach for that era.
It was.
Did he have other types of Mahattas as well?
He did. There were also anti-Mahattas, who were responsible for managing the frontier provinces, ensuring the security and stability of the empire's borders. This was a crucial role, especially given the vastness and diversity of the Mauryan Empire.
So he had officials dedicated to spreading Dhamma.
Right.
And others focused on security and border control. Sounds like a well-organized system.
It was certainly a complex undertaking, managing such a vast empire. And Ashoka, he seemed to understand the importance of delegating authority and having specialized officials to handle different aspects of governance.
It's fascinating to get a glimpse into how this ancient empire functioned. It's a reminder that even thousands of years ago, effective leadership required careful planning, organization, and a keen understanding of human nature.
Absolutely. And we haven't even touched upon Ashoka's patronage of both Orthodox and heterodox religious sects, or his significant efforts to propagate Buddhism beyond India's borders. But perhaps we can save those details for our next segment, along with a deeper exploration of the complexities and nuances of his reign.
Sounds like a plan. We've covered a lot of ground already. But there's still so much more to uncover about Ashoka and his impact on history. So for our listeners, especially our UPSC aspirants, who are eager to ace that GS1 ancient history section, stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive into the reign of Ashoka, where we're really getting into the fascinating details. You know, for our UPSC aspirants, understanding these nuances is key for a strong grasp of ancient Indian history for your GS1 exam.
That's right. History isn't just about memorizing names and dates. It's about understanding the complexities of the past, the motivations of these historical figures, and grappling with the challenges they faced. And Ashoka's reign offers a perfect example of this.
So we talked about Ashoka's commitment to nonviolence and Dhamma, but he didn't completely disband his army, right? How do we reconcile this with his seemingly pacifist ideals? Was this a contradiction, or was there a more nuanced explanation?
It's a question that has puzzled historians for centuries. On the one hand, he championed peace, even went so far as to renounce aggressive warfare. On the other hand, he maintained a powerful military force. So, yeah, this apparent contradiction highlights the tension between his ideals and the practical demands of ruling a vast empire.
So it's like he's walking this tightrope
Yeah.
between his personal convictions and the realities of maintaining order and security across such a vast and diverse territory.
Exactly. And this tension is a recurring theme throughout Ashoka's reign. And it forces us to confront the complexities of leadership and recognize that even the most well-intentioned rulers face difficult choices and compromises. And for our UPSC aspirants, this is crucial.
Recognizing these nuances can really elevate your understanding of Ashoka's reign and help you analyze historical events with greater depth, critical thinking. You know.
Exactly. It's about seeing the bigger picture and not just accepting things at face value. So while Ashoka advocated for Dhamma and nonviolence, he also understood that maintaining a strong military presence, it was essential for deterring those potential threats, ensuring stability within the empire.
It makes sense. Even in a society striving for peace, you still need some form of protection.
Right.
Especially when dealing with external pressures and internal conflicts.
Absolutely. And this pragmatic approach is evident in other aspects of his rule as well. For instance, while he championed tolerance and respect for different religions, he didn't shy away from using his authority to promote Dhamma and encourage its adoption throughout the empire.
So he was striving for a balance, promoting peace and harmony while also recognizing the need for a strong and stable state.
That's right. And this brings us to another interesting question. How was Dhamma actually received by the people of the Mauryan Empire? While Ashoka's edicts proclaim its widespread acceptance, was it truly embraced by everyone?
I imagine there must have been some resistance, especially from those who benefited from the old order, or those whose beliefs and practices clashed with the principles of Dhamma.
You raise a valid point. Unfortunately, we don't have detailed accounts from those who might have opposed or resisted Ashoka's reforms. Our understanding is primarily based on his edicts and the accounts of those who supported his vision.
So it's like trying to piece together a puzzle with missing pieces.
Right.
We have Ashoka's side of the story, but we can only speculate about how his policies were received by different groups within the empire.
And that's what makes historical research so fascinating. It's an ongoing process of exploration, interpretation, reinterpretation. As new evidence emerges and new perspectives are considered, there's always more to learn and discover about the past, even about a figure as well documented as Ashoka.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about Ashoka's legacy.
Okay.
He's widely regarded as one of India's greatest rulers. But what specifically sets him apart? What is it about his reign that has resonated throughout history and continues to be relevant today?
Ashoka's legacy extends far beyond his territorial expansion or military achievements. He is remembered for his pioneering approach to governance, his emphasis on social welfare, and his unwavering commitment to peace and tolerance. His reign marked a significant departure from the traditional model of kingship, laying the foundation for a more just and compassionate society.
So it wasn't just about conquering lands, it was about conquering hearts and minds, inspiring people to embrace a new way of living. Quite remarkable, especially considering the historical context of his time.
Absolutely. And his legacy is evident in tangible ways as well. His emblem, the lion capital of Sarnath, stands as a powerful symbol of India's national identity. It adorns government buildings, currency, and even our passports, a testament to his enduring influence on Indian culture and history.
Speaking of symbols, the principles of Dhamma, tolerance, nonviolence, social justice, these are still very much alive in contemporary India. They've been incorporated into our constitution, and they continue to shape our national discourse.
Ashoka's ideas have had a lasting impact, informing our ideals of a secular, inclusive, and compassionate society. They remind us that true leadership is about serving the people, promoting social harmony, striving for a just and equitable world.
It's almost as if Ashoka is whispering wisdom from centuries past, guiding us towards a better future. But as you said earlier, history is full of complexities, and Ashoka's reign is no exception. So what are some of the misconceptions or areas of debate that still surround his legacy?
One common misconception is that Ashoka converted to Buddhism and imposed it on his subjects, while he was a devout Buddhist, and played a significant role in promoting the spread of Buddhism. He never forced his beliefs on others. In fact, he emphasized tolerance and respect for all religious traditions, as evidenced by his edicts.
Right. That's an important distinction to make. He was advocating for Dhamma, which, as we discussed earlier, wasn't a religion, but a set of principles that could be embraced by people of all faiths.
Exactly. And it's crucial to remember that our understanding of Ashoka is constantly evolving. New archaeological discoveries and fresh interpretations of existing evidence can challenge our assumptions and shed new light on his reign.
It's a reminder that history isn't static. It's dynamic. It's an ever-evolving field of study. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely.
So for our UPSC aspirants, don't just focus on rote memorization. Engage critically with the material. Question assumptions. Be open to different perspectives. That's what will set you apart in those exams.
I couldn't agree more. And for those simply interested in learning more about their history, delve deeper. Explore beyond the textbooks. Discover the richness and complexities of Ashoka's reign for yourself.
Okay, we've talked about his legacy, his policies, and some of the debates surrounding his reign. But as an expert on Ashoka, is there one question that you are still grappling with? Something that keeps you up at night, poring over ancient texts and archaeological reports?
There are many mysteries and unanswered questions surrounding Ashoka, but one that particularly fascinates me is the extent to which his personal transformation was genuine. Was it a complete change of heart? Or were there political motivations intertwined with his embrace of Dhamma?
Ah, the age-old question. Was it a genuine spiritual awakening? Or a clever political strategy? It might never have a definitive answer, but that's what makes history so intriguing. It's not just about finding the right answer, but exploring the different possibilities. and engaging in thoughtful debate.
Exactly, and it's these unanswered questions that keep us coming back to history, seeking a deeper understanding of the past and its impact on the present.
So for our listeners, as we prepare to wrap up our deep dive into Ashoka's reign, here's something to ponder. What message would resonate most with you if you were standing before one of his towering edicts, hearing his words echo through the centuries? How would Ashoka's call for peace, tolerance, and social justice inspire you to act in the world today?
It's a powerful image, one that speaks to the timeless relevance of Ashoka's message. His story reminds us that leadership is about more than just power and control. It's about vision, compassion, and the courage to challenge the status quo.
And for our UPSC aspirants, Ashoka's reign provides a wealth of material for your GS1 ancient history prep. But remember, don't just memorize facts. Analyze them, understand their context, and connect them to broader themes.
Exactly. Ashoka's reign offers valuable insights into the complexities of ancient Indian history, the nature of leadership, and the enduring power of ideas.
All right, ready for the final stretch of our deep dive? In our last segment, we'll tackle some common misconceptions about Ashoka, explore how his legacy manifests in modern India, and leave you with some final thought-provoking questions to consider. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive on Ashoka. We've really been exploring his transformation, his policies, and the impact of his reign. Now, as we wrap up, let's tackle some myths and see how Ashoka's legacy is woven into the fabric of modern India, ready to debunk some historical misconceptions.
Always ready. And, for our listeners, especially our UPSC aspirants,
Right.
recognizing these misconceptions is key to really building a strong, accurate understanding of ancient Indian history.
Exactly. One thing we need to remember is that Ashoka's empire wasn't some, perfectly uniform, entity.
It was incredibly diverse.
He was so diverse, with regional variations in culture, language, and even how Ashoka's policies were implemented. It's like those one-size-fits-all clothing items.
Right.
Never quite a perfect fit.
Precisely. It's a mistake to assume that everyone across this vast empire had the same experience under Ashoka's rule. And we have to be mindful of the limitations of our sources. I mean, we rely heavily on Ashoka's edicts.
Yeah.
Which offer invaluable insights.
Right.
But they do represent a particular perspective, his perspective.
Right. It's like reading an autobiography. Fascinating.
Yeah.
But just one side of the story. So while those edicts proclaim the success of Dhamma, we have to consider those missing voices, those alternative narratives that might paint a slightly different picture.
And that's what keeps historical research so exciting. It's an ongoing process of discovery and reinterpretation. As new archaeological evidence emerges and scholars bring fresh perspectives, our understanding of Ashoka's reign continues to evolve.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. How does Ashoka's legacy manifest in modern India? Is it just in those grand statues and history textbooks, or is there, something more?
Ashoka's influence is woven into the very fabric of modern India. Take a look at our national emblem.
Okay.
The majestic lion capital of Sarnath, a powerful symbol of strength, national pride, drawn directly from Ashoka's reign.
Striking. You see it everywhere. Government documents, currency, passports.
It's a constant reminder of his impact on our nation.
Right.
And it goes deeper than just symbols. The principles of Dhamma, tolerance, nonviolence, social justice, these resonate deeply in contemporary India. They're incorporated into our constitution, and they continue to shape our aspirations for a secular, inclusive, and compassionate society.
It's like Ashoka's wisdom is echoing across centuries, guiding us toward a better future. But let's be real. Achieving those ideals, well, that's an ongoing journey, right? There's still work to be done when it comes to ensuring equality, peace, and harmony in our society.
Absolutely. But recognizing those challenges doesn't diminish the significance of Ashoka's vision or the impact of his reign. It emphasizes the enduring relevance of his ideals and the need to continually strive towards them.
All right. Before we wrap up, I'm curious, is there one question about Ashoka that you, as an expert, are still wrestling with? Something that keeps you digging deeper, searching for answers?
That's a tough one. But I'd say one thing that continues to fascinate me is the extent to which Ashoka's personal transformation was genuine and how deeply it influenced his policies. Was it truly a profound change of heart? Or were there political considerations woven into his embrace of Dhamma?
The age-old debate of sincerity versus strategy. It's a puzzle that might never be fully solved. But that's what makes studying history so captivating. It's not always about finding neat answers, but about asking those thought-provoking questions.
Exactly. And for our UPSC aspirants, this is a key takeaway. Don't just focus on memorizing facts about Ashoka. Dig deeper. Analyze his motivations. Understand the context of his time. Consider the complexity